I like him, but I'm worried for him. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. So another fun fact, here we are to have a nice quick little 10-minute discussion on how I feel about Nigeria's U20 team, the Super Eagles, how they're being portrayed, the character designs, how I think I kind of already covered how I think the narrative is going to go, but essentially how I think each character is going to play into the narrative, at least the four major characters, and also just generally my thoughts on the team and how they're being portrayed, all of that stuff. So let's not waste more time. Let me hop right into it. 10-minute timer, go. First things first, I do want to tackle is not actually their playstyle. I do want to talk about their designs. Notably, I will admit, if I had to rank them, it goes Yuki. Let's call him Yuki Mia, bro. No. But essentially, I have to go Kuso at 1, Obuabana at 2, Onazi at 3, and Bello at 4. Notably, Obuabana definitely is the design that's grown on me the most. I think I've just come to appreciate his build a whole lot more. He has a very strong, wide back, wide shoulders, broad shoulders build. And notably, his face has definitely grown on me the most. At first, I was like, he looks mad ugly. But honestly, never mind. I actually do like it a whole lot. I think the hair actually sells it. And the fact that he has a combo goatee going on. Really solid, really juicy, really meaty design. Overall, I like it. He's got that real big body defender build. It makes sense why he is pretty much the core of their defense outside of a certain someone else. For Onazi himself, though, I think I do like his design. I do. But I just can't really rock with the buns. Notably, it's fine. I understand why he has the buns. It makes him stand out a whole lot more. And honestly, actually helps build into his build, if it makes sense. Like, him being a little speedster, the buns could be like those two little coils that go on top of the thing. And, you know, like, electricity goes between those two, so I get that. And honestly, it makes his design a lot more unique without it. Like, he would have a much more less distinct silhouette if he did not have the two buns on his head. So overall, it does work out a whole lot. It's not like really my thing, but then again, I just don't have enough hair to do that, so maybe I'm actually just jealous. But speaking of not having enough hair, Yuki Mia, aka Kuso. I actually do like his design the most. I'm pretty basic. I know. I'm sorry, the sports glasses plus the braids just look immaculate. I ain't gonna lie to you, and I like the coloration behind them. He has the same multi-hair thing going on that Kuso does. Overall, he just has a really solid design, real solid build, and honestly, kind of my favorite character so far out of these four. And I know we've only had 3 chapters, really 2.5, but still, let me cook. And then Bello. I just don't like Bello's design. Notably, I like his hair. I like his build. It makes sense that he's sort of a facilitator, speedy, fast on his feet, very much like Onazi, and I think his build and his design fits well into his whole speedster archetype. But Bello, I don't know, man. He just has my least favorite design. He looks weird. I think it's mainly the face. Like, it's Bello's face that throws me off the most, man. Something about his eyes plus the mouth. I feel like if you swapped either of them out, I'd probably be fine with it. But in combination, it just looks a little funky. But his hair is immaculate. So ultimately, design-wise, I say Nigeria has basically hit all points. Like, I'm not even saying that Bello's design is bad or anything. It's just like not exactly my favorite. He's had worse. And by he, I mean Nomura has designed worse characters before. Bello's not anywhere near the bottom of that. I just don't like the eye and mouth combo. But speaking of the other thing I do want to talk about of their design, I am actually kind of sad none of them got last names. Like, notably, I saw someone bring up the idea that maybe this is meant to imply that they're all brothers, and we're holding off on a reveal of their last name, because I would, like, kind of spoil that. Essentially, we see all 4 of these guys playing together from the beginning, and notably, it's not impossible for these all to be related, considering they're all in the same area. I'm assuming they're kind of just childhood friends, but at the same time, it could be the reason we haven't gotten their last name, because it'd just be Kuso, last name is the same, Onazi, last name is the same, Obuabana, last name is the same, Bello, last name is the same. All that technically could be a big spoiler, and I can see, like, a whole, like, coming together as brothers thing being a reason for them to get a buff later on in the game. So ultimately, I'm kind of fine with it, but typically when characters don't get introduced with last names, they don't typically get last names. Think of Agi, think of, who am I thinking of? There's another character from the Neo Aegis League. There are a couple characters in the Neo Aegis League that just don't get last names. You can typically tell if a character doesn't get last names, they're not really going to be that important, or they're not going to be that long lasting. So I'm kind of worried for him, but hopefully this is just like holding off for some sort of reveal, hopefully, because I actually would have liked some more last name representation. You know, I just appreciate it. It's very rare that I get to see anything African, especially Nigerian, in any of the stuff I cover. So more last names, any last names at all, that would have been really, really nice. However, for the other thing you want to cover about Nigeria, their play style. I am a fan because of the potential it leaves open for evolution. Notably, as Aiku points out, the Nigerian players are leveraging their physical abilities to make and receive outrageous passes and then finishing by passing to their ace striker to score goals. It's a single endpoint system. It is very simple. Almost simple enough that I kind of don't like it, because I feel like if you're on the world stage, and these are especially the kings of Africa, who apparently curb stomp some other new Gen 111 members, actually is kind of crazy, but at the same time, I do get it on a twofold level. One, just because if your style works on everybody else, including the rest of your continent, why bother changing it up? That's probably why they've been so reliant on Onazi. That's fine. And number two, I think we're probably going to build on a complex structure sort of thing the further and further and further we get into the U20 World Cup. So, like, starting off with a super complex formula in the opener probably would be a bit too much. Probably just a little bit. So I'm assuming each team is going to build on complexity. Obviously, my only worry about that is, like, France. Because I'm not sure what other players on France are going to be relevant other than Charles and Loki, which is like a 2-point system. But at the same time, Loki's so broken, Charles is so broken. I don't know. But overall, the playstyle I'm actually kind of fine with. I think it's interesting mainly because of what it implies, right? The idea that with this basic endpoint system, they were still able to dominate all of Africa. It sort of sets them up as this threat beyond what our team has kind of dealt with before. We've dealt with 1 or 2 or 3 physical threats. So notably, we haven't had a team of just physical monsters like this, supposedly, since like the World 5 matches. Almost every other team has been at least comparable physically somewhat, unless the Masters are on the field back in the Neo Ignis League. So having a team that's fully spec'd in the Fizz does seem like a good start. And it's just a good way to show how Fizz can be made up for by tactical planning, as we see with Japan versus Nigeria so far. Obviously, this is very early into the game, though. Who knows? This could change, and that's why I'm also fine with the playstyle as it is right now. Because we're so early in the game, and it seems real simple, and obviously we only have 4 major characters, because I don't blame Namor for not wanting to make like 11 major characters every single time he goes on to introduce a new nation. I'm perfectly fine with the idea that this core, I should have said that backwards, core 4, will end up evolving throughout the match. Obviously, Kuso has been a big highlight for everyone, and they're assuming that he's either going to develop metavision and or simply raise the state of play, possibly become another like pseudo-striker alongside Anazi to allow for more mix-up, more variation, and I could definitely see that happening. While I still am technically in the camp of, I low-key want Nigeria to get blown out just a little bit, like a small little 3-1, maybe 4-1, maybe 5-1, maybe an Isagi masterclass here or there. I am coming around more and more to the idea that this is just like Nigeria's starting ground, and ultimately, in order to prove that the world is a threat at all, you do need to have Nigeria at least appear somewhat threatening. So in order for them to appear somewhat threatening, they do need to be, somewhat threatening and actually show potential for evolution and growth and stuff like that. Notably, what do I think about Nigeria as like a narrative device? I do ultimately think they're jobbers. If I have to be completely honest with you. While I do like their designs, while I do think they have potential to grow, while I do think their more basic system does allow for a more complex system later on, I do think all of this is built up into the idea that they're kind of meant to job and kind of show what Blue Lock shouldn't do. Obviously, the over-reliance on Anazi, a single forward, is kind of what the Blue Lock is going for, right? Like the ultimate idea of we have this really strong, overwhelming forward, he shall carry the entire team. But notably, we're going to see the difference between the ideal version of Blue Lock, aka Blue Lock itself right now, and the unideal version of Blue Lock, where everyone relies on Anazi too much, everyone relies on the lead striker too much, and leads to other players, being able to dominate and or lock down, or in this case, what I presume is going to happen for Isagi, predicting Anazi and his over-reliance by the team in order to outdo and overlap them. So I think all that is built to the idea of jobbing, from them being the kings of Africa, meaning that they are clearly the threat, right? And obviously Africa has been established to have, new Gen 11 members, I do believe. I believe it's in Egypt and Morocco. So for Nigeria to be the kings of Africa, that would mean that Blue Lock, if they manage to beat Nigeria, clearly is a level above even teams with new Gen 11 members, which does make sense considering on the progression from the Neo Ignis League, where we've had multiple new Gen 11 members show off and show out a little bit. We had Donnie, we had Kaiser, and obviously Sei is going to join back later on at the start of the elimination stage. So ultimately, I think Nigeria serves the purpose of kind of showing off Blue Lock, right? Like showing off how much they've evolved, showing that they still have points to grow. Like look at Rin getting cleared on right here. Look at look at Isagi and Reo need to double team Kuso in order to set him up for Karasu. Like ultimately, we're seeing that Blue Lock still has a place to grow from, but they've grown so much thanks to the Neo Ignis League and the post-Neo Ignis League training that they are a genuine threat to the world. A threat that could even transcend the kings of Africa. So overall, I'm kind of down with it. I'm down with it. Mainly because, like, I don't really want... I mean, I've seen the tie. I just don't like the tie. I really do not like the tie idea. I'm fine with it in the grand scheme of things, because people have explained alternate routes where it could work, where it could be like still possible, but especially if the Neo Ignis League, man, I'm just itching. I think I'm just itching for a blowout. And notably, Nigeria's been set up to be simple enough, and the characters don't have last names, and there are only 4 major of them, and I feel like they're just built to job. And we've had multiple amps upon amps upon amps for Blue Lock as a whole, and it's meant to be a show off match for Blue Lock. I feel like narratively, it just wouldn't really make sense for this to be a high diff match, especially a tie. but at the same time, I'm kind of seeing the vision. I'm kind of not. Overall, I like how Nigeria's been portrayed. Do I hope that they evolve at least a little bit? Yeah, I'm kind of hoping for almost a more like clean and clear run back of the U20 match where it was Blue Lock versus U20 Japan, where Blue Lock goes absolutely crazy in the first half. Maybe Onazi gets a goal, but even as Nigeria is evolving, Blue Lock shows their capacity to evolve by locking down and even evolve Nigeria, and then our characters going even further beyond and curb some of the middle ground a little bit more. So maybe we end up the game with like a 6-2, 6-3, something like that to go absolutely crazy, considering we're having a 90-minute match and we're only 2 minutes in by the time of the third chapter. So overall, I think Nigeria's done pretty well. I'm excited to see how this game is going to go. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Yo, why was that kind of a ball? And we made it into the 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you've been all the way to the end of this video, please leave it's job in time. Like you know how the thing goes, it's clobber in time, leave it's job in time in the comment section down below. I did thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the overcase post you help us out on any videos that come to the channel. Also you do have a Patreon below, or you support me for as low as $1 a month. The things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, here this series I have to review, I do variations of all my videos. If you become a $12 Patreon or $12 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also you have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you drop 5 minutes of a short video, 20 minutes of a long video, or any videos at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Zach with the pencil, writing off. I would like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zara, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Uda, Alex Kenny, Enzo, Plant Crone, G Prosper, Swift Strike, Striker Man, and Autumn Mornings Lazo, Kree Panem, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, and Azo2404. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Dread Zoen, A+A, and Victor Raji. And then I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members: Austin Wimberly, Auchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. With a long, juicy, thick, hefty thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Joaquin Munoz and Joaquin Munoz. With a final Ganshuin legendary super grumdeliumptious thank you to our glorious, legendary, handsome, costume glazing king, Calvin Elder.